So do you get stressed out when you get on the scale? What about if you're at a doctor's appointment? Well, check out what some doctor offices are putting in their waiting room. They're cards, okay? There they are. And you can hand it over to your physician that says, quote unquote, don't weigh me unless it's really medically necessary. On the back, it lists reasons why I like. Most health conditions can be addressed without knowing my weight. I get stressed and it perpetuates weight stigma. Okay, so Tori, what do you make of these cards?
First off, I will say that I hate getting weighed at the doctor's office, and I try and take off, like many people, my bra, my shoes, my hope, my dignity, so that I weigh like less. You know what I mean? Like everything I can do. But I think the cards are a little like what people are trying to say to wokeism. Just talk to the nurse and say, hey, don't tell me. Write it down and look away. I don't need a card, but if that's what you feel, that's fine. I just feel like weight is super important as a baseline, and obesity is such on the rise that weight is important. So take it down, but ask just not to know it. Maybe that's best for you.
I don't know why we're so hung up on this thing. It's like the last conversation we just had was like, trust the science, don't listen to anybody else. Dr. Fauci knows best, right? This is the same thing. These are numbers to equate to how much medicine that you take. If you weigh this, you need to take X amount of this. That's science. That's math. But now you don't believe in science and math? It's just such a crazy place that we're in. On one hand, you're down for it. I'm on science, and then on the other hand, when it affects you personally, you're like, no, I don't think so. So as soon as something affects someone negatively, they're off that train.
I think this people's self-worth is wrapped up. When I say people, let's be honest, women. You know, what this culture has put upon them their entire, almost since birth. I mean, when you think about Trump when he was running, and I hate to bring him up 2 segments in a row, but he called Rosie O'Donnell fat. And that was probably the biggest laugh that he got in his presidency, because everybody knew what he meant. He didn't call Chris Christie fat.
Right.
And he's not super in shape. So why did he go after somebody that wasn't running, somebody that really wasn't relevant? It's because he knew he could get a laugh. Because calling women fat has been what has been happening, either subconsciously through magazine covers or just out yelled at a bar. It's been happening. So now when people get to the doctor's office, there is a significant amount of trauma associated with just seeing that number and attaching your self-worth to it. And I think that's why we get here. But I think on the surface you go, who cares about your weight? No one cares about their weight if it hasn't been the only thing you've thought about your entire life.
Yeah, and Tori, listen, I agree. I guess I agree with all of you here, and I usually don't like to take that stance. But
very edgy.
And I wish we had a doctor here, because when can you go into the doctor's office and say, only if it's medically necessary? Because to Jeff's point, your weight, your body mass index, all of that boils down to how not only what you're feeling in your actual physical health, but then they compare it to your chart from the previous time and the previous time.
Right.
Weight's really important medically.
But if you have an eye injury or broken pinky,
you don't get your weight when you go to the optometrist?
Optometrist?
No, I think ophthalmologist is right. Optometrist is like LensCraft.
Yes.
What?
I think. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Right.
Sam for the victory.